Hey guys, Kyle Cordiana here. This is going to be my FLW Tour recap for Lake Cherokee out of Tennessee. What an incredible fishery. Had high hopes for this to be a fun tournament, and it exceeded my expectations. This was such an amazing fishery. It's become one of my new top 5 favorite places to try to go to during the spring. An incredible population of smallmouth, largemouth as well. But man, what a fun event. Had some heartbreak, but I do want to talk to you guys about some of the items that I used that were very important for me, that almost got me a top 30, just one lost fish. Biggin. That's what we need. That's what we need. That's what we need. It's a big old largemouth. No! And some of the products that I use, I've also got some new stuff here. Some of the products I want to show you guys that I think are pretty cool. I just want to share it with you. So the main deal here, figured it out pretty early in practice. These smallmouth were pre-spawn and spawning, and they were moving up hardcore. A post-spawn thing, no point even trying to chase it down. It was so easy to get bit chasing the pre-spawn and the spawning fish. There was no other way about it. I got on a really solid bite early on in practice. Early on a square bill, like a flat-sided square bill crankbait, but I quickly realized they would bite a swim bait better than anything for me. Unfortunately, there was another bite that took place that I didn't get tipped off to. I didn't figure it out till later, and that was a Ned rig bite. I did put it in my hand on the final day, and that's I had a ginormous largemouth on that bait. So anyway, I want to show you guys what I was using, and I'll talk about some of this other stuff. But the main thing that did most of my damage was this boot tail swim bait. I was throwing a white color, and early on in practice, I realized there was a whole lot of bluegill up shallow. Anytime you guys are in pre-spawn and the fish are starting to spawn and you start seeing bluegill up shallow, that's when you need to really consider putting chartreuse on the tip of your bait. I don't care if you're throwing a green pumpkin or watermelon or white, tip your tail with chartreuse, because what's happening there is those bluegills are up there and they're invading the beds, the spawning bass beds, even crappie beds, but the bluegills are up there eating eggs. And so any of those spawning bass are going to be super territorial over bluegill. So something with a chartreuse tail. Dye your tail chartreuse, guys. They hate bluegills, so they'll get really aggressive with that. I was throwing this on a Kistler Helium 3, 7.3 light, medium, heavy. It's my favorite length in action for throwing these smaller swim baits. I had 2 different size heads. I was throwing a 1/4 ounce and a 3/8 ounce. I paired back and forth. If I was fishing really, really shallow, I would throw the 1/4 ounce and try to keep that bait just slow floating to help me get hung up less. I found out really early on there was a strong pattern. To get a bite, I literally had to get my swim bait hung up. I'd get it hung up on the rock. I'd be sitting there popping it off. A lot of times fish would eat it while I was hung up. I'd be hung on a rock and all of a sudden it'd be pulling. Or as soon as I'd pop it off, I'd start to reel it and that bait would kind of fall because I was catching up to my slack line and I'd get a bite. You'll see it so many times in the videos. I catch so many fish hung on rocks. So I knew they were tight to rocks, which is why I'm frustrated I didn't figure out to throw a drop shot or a little Ned rig in there and let it soak and sit right there, because they were obviously tight to those little crevices. Great job to Andrew Upshaw for figuring that out so early on. And congratulations on the win. But that's what I was throwing that on. I threw it on 15-pound Seaguar and VizX fluorocarbon. I probably could have got away with 12-pound line, but I threw it on that. I threw it on an Ardent Apex Elite 7.3-1. Same thing, great drag, great castability, lots of rain. You may hear my reels doing a little squeaking. That's all just because I got completely soaked in rain. I do want to show you this square bill, this flat-sided crankbait, just a Spro. Pretty cool bait. You can see they were really chewing it up. It's all scratched up. I'm not sure what color they call that, but it's a chrome with kind of a gizzard green back. And I was throwing this on a KLX feeling reel. This is my 7'2" medium heavy. Had 15-pound fluorocarbon on it as well. Just throwing it out there, bouncing it off, deflecting it off as many baits as I can, or as many rocks as I can. This guy dives like 6 to 8 foot, so you had a lot of options there for how much water you wanted to cover. You could slow it down and crawl it over shallower water. Again, guys, always keep in your Calcos bait sacks. It's the coolest thing ever for treble hook baits and A-rigs and big swim baits and jerk baits. So do that, clip it to your rod, and you don't have to worry about your hooks getting in your rod box or in your seats if you're in the passenger seat. The other bait that was really important, I want to show you, and it's also the bait that Andrew Upshaw won on, or at least the head. Not sure about the bait. But this is a new hook from Gene Larue. It's called the pig head, right? So it's like a football-shaped head. It's got this really cool pyramid-shaped bait keeper on the shank. And it's made out of a sickle hook, guys. Like the old style, like the new style crappie hooks. It's got a weed guard that you can cut down or you can bend and flex however you want. But that sickle hook is awesome, and that pyramid really keeps the bait on. So when I'm showing you, this is a Gene Larue, this is an inchworm, this is Montezuma Revenge. And the reason I picked this color, same deal. See how it's got this kind of chartreuse glimmer to it? And it's real simple. This is a 16th ounce head. They come in 1/4, 1/8, and 16th ounce. And you just rig it up, you slide it up past that pyramid, hooking that little channel on your inchworm, and that's what you got. And that's literally the exact head that Andrew Upshaw won this tournament on. So go check out Gene Larue's new pig head. This was a really lightweight. It would really just flutter around in there really slow, and it kept you from getting hung up so much. That's the important part of that lightweight. Slow rate of fall might have got you a few more bites, but most importantly, if you had too heavy a weight, you just got hung up so much. And on light line, this is 6 or 8 pound fluorocarbon. You just couldn't afford to get hung up because you'd have to break it off, you'd have to go get it, and you'd mess the spot up. So I was sewing this on a Kistler Helium 3. This is a 7-foot medium action, extra fast tip. And dude, it is sweet. I got an Ardent Bolt on here. This one has 8 pound fluorocarbon. I know Andrew was selling 6 pound fluorocarbon. But anyway, guys, just threw that up there. Find any little natural looking spawning pocket that was protected by 2 rocks or a crack. A lot of those big rocks had cracks, and these smallmouth were spawning inside of those. Really cool way to catch them. I'm kind of bummed I didn't get on top of that, but there's plenty of footage out there if you watch Andrew's stuff to see how to do that. But again, get that new Gene Larue pig head. It is freaking awesome. One of the most important things in this whole tournament, and I forget to mention this all the time, and it's my fault, is my Costa sunglasses. Guys, this is so important. Literally, even in the rain, I had these Silver Sunrise Maricosta sunglasses. They bring out yellow hues. They help things look more light. But even in sunlight, these do a great job of blocking out the yellows. And so these are a perfect all-weather condition pair of sunglasses. So again, why this was so important is the fish were relating to rocks that were just under the surface, rocks that we couldn't quite see. And if you were able to see rocks that other anglers weren't, and were able to present your bait either on the back side, rolling around the side, or pop it off the top and let it flutter down, if you could see that rock, literally I could call my shots on day one when it was sunny. I could say there should be one there, I'd get hung up, I'd find the rock, I'd get hung up on it on purpose, pop it off, let the bait fall down, and thunk. And so Costa sunglasses, great 580G polarized lenses. They were such an important part to being successful out there on the water. You've got to get you a good pair of Costas if you want to be at the top of your game. Guys, I can't point out enough the Cal Coast Clip and Cold 2.0 with the money beam. Literally, there was so much culling that took place in this event, so many fish that were just 1 ounce different. You could leave your smallest fish, take the time, weigh your fish, know what they weigh. You could leave your smallest fish hooked up in the cold beam. This thing floats in the water. The money beam floats. You can leave your smallest fish on your smallest one. And then the next fish you catch, you can just clamp it to this one, hold it up, figure out if he's bigger. It's an awesome tool. Another shout out I gotta give is the Stormer. I left my rain gear at home in this event. I had to practice in borrowed rain gear. It didn't work very good. Stormer stepped it up, and they sent me an aero suit, bibs, jacket, and all, overnighted it to me so that I had good gear the next morning. So thank you so much for that, Stormer. Another product I want to show you guys this is called Fish Defunk, guys. It's like hand wipes, but I clean a lot of crappie. I eat a lot of fish. I get really fishy, stinky fingers, and I put this to the test with my wife. I can be covered in fish, stinking really bad, wipe my hands with one of these wipes, and I go put it in my wife's face, and she promises it doesn't stink. So I need to have her out here confess to that. This stuff works really good. They have little wipes and little square packages like you get at barbecue restaurants. They got this big tube here, and they've also got the ones that kind of lay flat with a sealable kind of Ziploc bag or whatever. But this Fish Defunk stuff is the real deal. It will make you not stink. So if you're an angler like me, you hate stinking. And the other thing I want to show you guys, this is a company out of Korea. It's called B-Bait. And they have this really unique technology, and I just want to share it with you guys because I think it's really cool how the sport of fishing never quits being innovative. And what this is, they've got their own baits, but what I really want to promote is they call it a Bait Capsule. And what these are is they're little capsules that pop into your bait. So it's sealed up in here, but there's these little red capsules, and they're about the size of a BB on a BB gun. And they've got a special bait where you put it in there, but anything like a biffle bug, you can stick the bait up in the cavity of the bait, and what happens is that little capsule dissolves, it releases an odor, and it releases a red blood trail. So the whole top behind it is fishy, bleeding bait. I think it's where they're getting the bee bait. But they sent me this package. I just want to thank you guys very much for sending that to me. I think that's really cool. I'm going to try that blood idea. I think it's neat. So that's something new for you guys to look at. I think that's it. Thank you so much for Blake and Curtis Smith for letting us stay at Lake Cherokee. Jeff and I are really thankful for that. The Smith family was awesome. Again, go get you one of those pig heads at Gene Larue. Really freaking awesome way to catch a whole lot of fish is throwing a Ned rig with an inch worm on it. And we're on to Chickamauga. I leave in 2 days for Chickamauga, so I got to start taking all this off, re-rigging. That is going to be first time I've ever been there, so I'm really looking forward to that. There's going to be a lot of fish spawning. I think you're going to have pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn, so we'll just see what that holds. We got 3 days to figure that out. Guys, we're still chasing the cup. We're in 58th place. So I did the math. If my next 2 finishes, we got 2 events left, if they combine to equal 96, so if I get a 50th place and a 46th place, or a first place, let's do that. And then we'll have to get 95th. So something like that's going to still get me in the cup. So that's what I'm shooting for. A couple top 30s and we're in fishing our first Wood Cup. Thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to support these awesome sponsors that support the sport of fishing. It keeps the world going round. Don't forget to click like, subscribe. Thank you so much.